Success isn't just about talent or luck. It's about consistency. The truth is, anyone can have a burst of motivation, but the real challenge lies in staying consistent, day in and day out. So how do you build a life where success becomes inevitable? It all starts with a simple yet powerful formula. A formula that can turn your daily actions into the habits that drive long-term success. If you've ever struggled with staying consistent, you know how tough it can be. You start strong, but somewhere along the way, life throws a curveball. You lose focus, you lose momentum, and that's where most people fall off track. But it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, I'm going to show you the real key to consistency. I'm going to walk you through a day-by-day formula that will help you stay on course, even when the going gets tough. This isn't about working harder or longer. It's about making small, consistent decisions every single day that will lead to lasting results. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, actionable plan to follow, one that you can start today. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just proven, practical strategies to help you build the consistency that will carry you toward your goals. If you're ready to take control of your future and make consistency work for you, keep watching. Let's number 1. Decide once, act daily. I want you to think about something for a moment. Deciding once, not deciding every single day, not changing your mind every week, but making that one decision and sticking with it. Do you know how many people fail because they never make that decision? They go through life just wondering, bouncing from one thing to another, never fully committing. If you want to be successful, really successful, you have to decide once and act on that decision every single day. That's the key. Here's the deal. Success isn't something that happens overnight. It's built day by day, choice by choice, action by action. The most successful people you know, they're not doing anything magical. What they are doing, however, is deciding once, deciding what they want, committing to it, and then showing up every single day to make it happen. Let me break this down for you. When you make a decision, that's the first step. But it's not just about saying, I'm gonna do this. It's about truly committing to it, without second-guessing yourself every day. Think about your goals, whether it's starting a business, getting in better shape, or learning a new skill. You don't need to make the same decision over and over again. You've already decided. So why keep thinking about it? Just get to work. Now I know this is where many people get stuck. They decide, but they don't act. Or they act for a while, then get discouraged when things don't go as planned. This is where the power of consistency comes in. You don't need to have it all figured out right away. You don't need to know exactly how everything is going to happen. What you need is to keep showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency isn't about having perfect days. It's about doing what needs to be done, day in and day out. It's the little actions that add up. Whether it's working on your project for an hour a day, eating healthy meals, or making that sales call, the consistent effort is what will get you results. Here's a simple truth. You're going to face challenges. You're going to have days when you don't feel like doing the work, or when things don't seem to be moving forward as quickly as you'd like. But that's where the decision you made, your commitment, will carry you through. When you decide once, you act daily. You don't wait for motivation to strike. You don't wait for the perfect time. You just act, because you've decided that this is the life you want. This is the future you've chosen, and nothing is going to stand in your way. You know what most people do? They wait for the stars to align. They wait for everything to be just right. But that's not how it works. Success doesn't come to the ones who wait. Success comes to the ones who decide and then act, even when things aren't perfect. You can't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The time is now. The decision is now. The action is now. And when you do this over and over again, day after day, it starts to feel natural. It becomes a habit, and that's when the magic starts to happen. Let me give you a simple example. If you want to get in better shape, you don't need to decide every single day. Am I going to work out today? No. You've already made that decision. You've decided that you're going to get in shape, so you act on that decision every day. You don't wait for motivation to hit you. You don't wait for the perfect time. You just do it every day, even when you don't feel like it. That's the key to success. Decide once, decide what you want, and commit to it. Once you make that decision, don't second guess it. Don't question it every day. Just keep acting on it. Take small steps every day. You don't need giant leaps, just steady, consistent effort. And soon you'll look back and realize that those small steps have turned into big progress. Here's another important point. Make your decision stick. Don't just make it once and forget about it. Put it in writing, tell someone about it, talk about it every day. Make it real. Don't allow yourself to go back on your word. Don't give yourself an out. This is what separates the people who succeed from the people who give up. The ones who succeed don't quit when it gets tough. They don't quit when the results don't come fast enough. They stay committed to their decision, and they show up every single day to do the work. So ask yourself right now, what have I decided? And am I acting on it every day? Am I consistently showing up? Or am I waiting for the perfect conditions? Because I'll tell you right now, if you're waiting for everything to fall into place before you take action, you're going to be waiting forever. The time to act is now. Decide what you want, commit to it, and show up every day. That's all it takes. That's the secret. In the end, it's not about having big plans or perfect strategies. It's about making that one decision and then doing the work day after day, no matter what. So let's get this straight. Decide once and act daily. That's how you turn your dreams into reality. Number 2, set a fixed time for your daily tasks. Let's talk about something crucial when it comes to staying consistent. It's about setting a fixed time for your daily tasks. I don't mean just saying, oh, I'll get to it later, or I'll do it when I have time. No, I'm talking about setting a specific time in your day and sticking to it, no matter what. Why is this so important? Because consistency thrives on structure. Without structure, you'll find yourself wasting time and energy, always scrambling around trying to figure out what to do next. But when you set a fixed time for your daily tasks, you're building discipline into your life. You're telling yourself, this is when I do this, and nothing is going to get in the way. Think about it like this. You've got 24 hours in a day. That's it. You don't get more, and you can't make up for lost time. So how you spend those hours is everything. If you leave your tasks to chance or to a vague, I'll do it later, you're putting yourself in a position where you're always chasing after time instead of using it wisely. Here's the real secret. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care if you're tired or busy or feeling off. The world keeps turning. So you have to treat your time with the respect it deserves. And the best way to do that is by setting a fixed time for the important things in your day. Let's say you've decided that you want to get healthier. Maybe you want to start exercising, but you're not sure when to fit it into your day. Here's the key. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel inspired or motivated to hit the gym. Set a time. Maybe it's 6 a.m. Maybe it's 7 p.m. Whatever it is, make it your routine and treat it like any other important meeting. Once it becomes a fixed time, it's no longer something you feel like doing. It's just what you do. But here's the catch. You've got to stick to it. You can't let life's distractions pull you away from that time you've set aside. Now, I'm not saying you can't be flexible. There will be days when things come up, but if you start treating your time like it's non-negotiable, you'll see a huge shift in your productivity and your results. What happens when you start to set fixed times for your daily tasks? Well, you stop wasting time. You stop wondering what you should do next. You stop overthinking. Instead, you start focusing on executing. You start getting things done. And that's where the real progress is made. Let's get specific. Let's say you have a task you need to do every day. Maybe it's reading, maybe it's writing, maybe it's working on a project. If you set a fixed time for that task, your brain will start to adjust. It will know that at this particular time it's time to work, and you'll start to notice something powerful. Your energy and focus will align with the time you've set. You'll be more productive. You'll get into a rhythm. Your mind and body will start to expect it, and suddenly it'll feel natural to do that task at the same time every day. One of the best things about setting a fixed time for your tasks is that it builds momentum. Let me explain. When you set a time and stick to it, you begin to build small wins each day. You've already won by showing up. You've already won by being consistent, and those small wins lead to bigger wins over time. It doesn't matter if you're working on your health, your career, or your personal goals. Momentum is the key to making consistent progress. And setting fixed times for your daily tasks gives you the momentum you need. Here's another benefit. You can plan your day more effectively. When you know exactly when you're doing each task, it becomes much easier to fit everything in. You'll be less likely to feel overwhelmed, because you've already decided what time each task will happen. The more you can structure your day like this, the more you'll be able to accomplish without feeling rushed or stressed. But I want to be clear about something. This isn't about creating a rigid schedule where there's no flexibility. Life happens. You might need to change things up sometimes. The key is not to get lost in the weeds, and not to let time slip away. When you have a fixed time for each task, you can more easily adjust your day if something unexpected comes up. Now let's get practical. How do you actually set a fixed time for your daily tasks? It's simple, really. Pick a time that works for you. A time when you're most focused, energized, and ready to take action. If you're a morning person, maybe your most productive time is in the morning. If you're a night owl, maybe it's after dinner. Find what works for you, and then stick with it. Consistency is what matters. Start by writing down your tasks. Then, assign a time to each task, and hold yourself accountable to that schedule. Yes, life will throw curveballs, but when you make your tasks non-negotiable, you'll begin to see the power of consistency at work in your life. Here's something to keep in mind as you start building this habit. It's not going to be easy at first. You're going to feel resistance. You're going to have days where you want to skip your scheduled task. That's normal. What matters is that you push through that resistance and honor the time you've set aside for that task. Eventually, it will get easier. You'll get stronger, and your results will start to show. When you set a fixed time for your daily tasks, you're essentially making a promise to yourself. You're saying, this is important, and I'm going to make it a priority. And when you treat your time with respect, the universe starts to work in your favor. Things begin to fall into place. You start getting more done. You start feeling more in control of your day. So here's my challenge to you. Pick a time for your most important tasks. Start small. Pick one thing that matters to you and set a fixed time for it. Then, make that time non-negotiable. Whether it's exercise, reading, or working on a project, commit to that time every day. And once you start, I promise you, you'll start seeing the difference. The key here is this. Set a fixed time for your daily tasks, and treat that time with the same importance you'd treat a meeting, with a client or a deadline at work. Stick to it. Keep showing up, and watch how your consistency leads to success. Number 3, eliminate distractions that break your focus. Distractions. We all deal with them. They come in different shapes and sizes, but the effect is the same. They break your focus, they steal your time, and they hold you back from making real progress. Here's the truth. Distractions are the silent killers of productivity. You don't always notice them at first, but over time, they add up. You start with a few minutes lost here and there, but before you know it, hours have slipped away, and your day is gone. That's time you could have spent working on your goals, improving your skills, or getting closer to your dreams. So how do you get control of these distractions? How do you eliminate the things that keep pulling your attention away from what matters? It all starts with understanding this. Your focus is your most valuable asset. If you don't protect it, nothing else you do will matter. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if you can't stay focused long enough to get the work done, you're not going to see results. The first step is acknowledging that distractions are always going to be there. They don't disappear. There's always something that will try to grab your attention. Your phone, social media, notifications, other people. It's a constant battle. But here's the thing. You get to decide what gets your attention. You have the power to choose where you place your focus. And when you realize that, you can start taking control. One of the best ways to eliminate distractions is to get clear on what you want to accomplish. When you know exactly what you're working towards, it becomes easier to stay focused. It's like having a destination in mind. If you're driving somewhere and you know where you're going, you're less likely to get sidetracked. But if you don't have a clear destination, you're more likely to get lost along the way. The same principle applies to your goals. The clearer you are about what you want to achieve, the easier it becomes to stay focused and eliminate distractions. It's about creating a clear path forward. When you know exactly what you need to do, distractions will seem less important. Next, it's time to look at your environment. Your environment plays a huge role in your ability to focus. If your workspace is cluttered or full of distractions, your mind is going to be scattered. Clean it up. Create a space that is dedicated to your work. This isn't about making things look perfect. It's about setting up an environment that supports your goals. It's about creating a space where you can focus, work, and get things done without distractions constantly pulling at you. Now let's talk about the big one, your phone. You've got to be honest with yourself about how much time you're wasting on it. Social media, games, messages, these things are designed to grab your attention and hold it. And before you know it, an hour has passed, and you've gotten nothing done. The first step in eliminating distractions is acknowledging that your phone is a tool, not a constant source of entertainment. Start by turning off non-essential notifications. You don't need to know every time someone likes your post or sends you a message. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb mode while you're working, and set boundaries for when you'll check messages or scroll through social media. Treat your phone like a tool that you use intentionally, not something that constantly pulls you away from what you should be focused on. Another distraction that many people face is the pull of other people. Now, this doesn't mean you should isolate yourself completely, but you need to recognize when other people are interfering with your focus. If you're trying to get work done and someone comes over to chat, it's easy to get distracted. This can happen at home, at the office, or anywhere. The key is to set boundaries with the people around you. Let them know when you need to focus, and when it's okay to talk. You don't have to be rude, but you have to be firm about protecting your time. Sometimes the biggest distraction comes from within. It's the thoughts and worries that run through your mind. You know what I'm talking about. You sit down to work, but then your mind starts racing. You start thinking about everything else in your life. Your bills, your relationships, your to-do list. These distractions are mental, but they're just as powerful as any external ones. So how do you deal with them? One of the best ways is to clear your mind before you start working. Take a few minutes to do something that helps you get in the right mindset. Maybe that's a quick meditation, a breathing exercise, or simply writing down the thoughts that are on your mind. When you clear your mental clutter, it becomes much easier to focus on the task at hand. Let's talk about another common distraction, multitasking. I know it's tempting to try and do multiple things at once. You think you're being productive, but all you're really doing is spreading yourself thin. Multitasking may seem like a time saver, but it's actually a productivity killer. You can't give your full attention to more than one thing at a time. It's better to focus on one task, give it your full attention, and then move on to the next. When you do this, you get more done in less time. Now, I'm not saying that distractions won't come up. They will. But the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people know how to manage their distractions. They don't let them control their day. Instead, they take control of their focus. One of the most powerful ways to eliminate distractions is by creating routines. When you have a set routine for your day, it becomes easier to stay on track. You don't have to think about what to do next, because you already know. You've set aside specific times for your tasks, and you stick to those times. When you create routines, distractions don't have as much room to slip in. Another great strategy is to schedule breaks. It might sound counterintuitive, but taking regular breaks can actually help you stay focused. When you know that you'll get a break in 30 minutes or an hour, you're more likely to stay focused during that time. It's when you try to work for hours on end without a break that you start to lose focus. So schedule breaks throughout your day to give your mind a rest. Lastly, let's talk about something that's crucial for maintaining focus: self-discipline. Distractions are always going to be around, but your ability to stay disciplined will determine how much you let them affect you. Self-discipline is about making the choice to stay focused, even when it's hard. It's about pushing through the urge to check your phone, to scroll through social media, or to get up and do something else. And the more you practice self-discipline, the easier it becomes. In the end, it's about creating a system that works for you. It's about taking control of your environment, setting boundaries, and protecting your time. You have the power to eliminate distractions, but you've got to be intentional about it. If you want to be consistent, if you want to reach your goals, then you've got to protect your focus like it's your most valuable asset. And once you do that, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Number 4, prepare for the next day before you sleep. when it comes to consistency. One of the most overlooked but powerful habits you can develop is preparing for the next day before you sleep. If you want to make your day easier, more productive, and more focused, you need to get ready for it the night before. It's a simple strategy, but it's one that a lot of people neglect, and that's why they struggle with staying on track. The truth is, we tend to wake up in the morning and immediately start reacting to things. The day begins with a rush, checking emails, social media, messages, and jumping into tasks. We don't give ourselves the space to think ahead, and that leads to a scattered, unproductive day. But when you prepare the night before, you're setting yourself up for success before the day even begins. So why is this such an important habit? Well, think about it this way. When you wake up, your mind is still in recovery mode. You're still adjusting from sleep, and it takes time to get into gear. If you don't have a plan in place, you'll waste precious minutes trying to figure out what to do, or worse, get sidetracked by distractions. But if you've prepared the night before, you've already made some key decisions, which means you're able to hit the ground running the moment your feet hit the floor. One of the first things you can do to prepare for tomorrow is plan your tasks. Before you go to bed, take 5 or 10 minutes to make a list of the key things you need to accomplish the next day. This list doesn't need to be overwhelming. It's about identifying the most important tasks that will move you forward. If you plan ahead, you don't have to wake up and wonder what you should do next. You know exactly what's on your plate. When you write down your tasks, make sure they're clear and specific. Instead of saying, "Work on my project," break it down into smaller steps. For example, you could write 500 words for my project, or make a phone call to a client. Specific tasks make it easier to start working, and they take away the decision-making process, which can be a time waster. But here's where it gets interesting. Prepare not only your tasks, but your mindset. This is crucial. In order to start the day with the right energy, you need to mentally get ready. Spend a few minutes thinking about what you want to accomplish and why it matters. What's the bigger picture? What is your purpose for the day? When you link your actions to something meaningful, it gives you motivation, and that's the fuel you need to stay consistent. Sometimes the toughest part of getting started in the morning isn't the tasks themselves. It's just the thought of them. We often face mental resistance. You know that feeling where you dread getting started. You don't want to tackle it. But when you've planned your tasks and thought about why they matter the night before, you've already reduced that resistance. You've already made a commitment to yourself, and it's easier to follow through. Another thing to do before bed is to set out everything you need for the next day. Lay out your clothes, gather your work materials, and get your workspace ready. If you have an important meeting, prepare any notes or presentations the night before. The less you have to think about in the morning, the smoother things will go. Plus, you'll be able to save time and avoid unnecessary stress. A great tip to help you stick to your plan is to set priorities for your tasks. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing I can do tomorrow? Identify the one thing that will make the biggest impact on your day. Then make sure that it's the first thing you work on when you wake up. This way, you're not overwhelmed by a long list of things to do, and you start with the task that matters most. The night before is also a perfect time to think about how you want your day to unfold. It's not just about the tasks, it's about the experience you want to have. Do you want to feel calm and focused, or do you want to feel rushed and stressed? By preparing yourself mentally for the next day, you set the tone for how it will go. You can imagine yourself being productive, staying calm under pressure, and handling any challenges that come your way. This visualization can be powerful. It primes your mind for success, and your mind is the key to your consistency. When you take time to prepare for tomorrow, you're also giving yourself a head start. A lot of people wake up and struggle with where to start. They waste time deciding, which can leave them feeling unproductive. But when you've already planned your day the night before, you're ahead of the game. You've made decisions in advance, and now all you have to do is execute. You've removed the unnecessary friction that often holds people back, and that's a key factor in maintaining consistency. Now you might be wondering, what about my evening routine? How does that tie into preparation? The truth is, the way you end your day plays a significant role in how you'll perform tomorrow. If you spend your evening scrolling through your phone or watching TV late into the night, you're not doing yourself any favors. Your mind and body need rest to function at their best. A healthy evening routine should focus on winding down. Spend time doing something relaxing, like reading or meditating. Avoid stimulants like caffeine or engaging with work right before bed. Allow yourself time to relax and clear your mind. The more peaceful your evening, The better your sleep, and the better your sleep, the more energized and focused you'll be the next day. This is a key part of preparing for tomorrow, not just mentally, but physically. When you take care of your body, you set yourself up for success the next day. It's also important to get enough sleep. A lot of people underestimate how crucial sleep is to consistency. You can't be at your best if you're running on empty. When you've set yourself up the night before, you'll sleep more soundly, knowing you've got a plan. A good night's rest will give you the energy and clarity you need to tackle your day head on. Finally, remember that consistency isn't just about taking action every day. It's about setting yourself up for success. And part of that preparation is making sure your environment and mindset are in the right place before you sleep. A little planning, a little preparation, and a little reflection can go a long way in making sure tomorrow is a productive, focused day. It's the simple act of preparing the night before that ensures you start the next day with clarity and confidence. Number 5, adjust, but never quit. If you're serious about building consistency, you've got to learn the art of adjustment. There will be days when things don't go according to plan, when life throws unexpected challenges your way, or when you simply don't feel like doing what you need to do. But here's the secret. Adjust, but never quit. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan or how committed you are, there will be times when things don't unfold the way you thought they would. You might face setbacks, distractions, or even failure. And in those moments, it's easy to throw in the towel and walk away. But that's not the way to long-term success. The real key is learning how to adapt and adjust your approach without giving up on your goals. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has faced obstacles. The difference between them and those who never reach their potential is simple. They didn't quit. They adjusted. They kept moving forward, even when it wasn't easy. They recognized that setbacks are a part of the process, not the end of it. Adjusting means being flexible. It means not being rigid in your thinking or attached to one way of doing things. If something isn't working, it's okay to change it up. Maybe your plan needs fine-tuning, or maybe you need to change your strategy altogether. But the key is to always keep moving forward. Now let's talk about why adjusting is so important. When you start out on a goal, you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, and you have a plan. But as you go, you quickly learn that things aren't always as easy as they seem. Life happens. Maybe your schedule gets thrown off, or you face unexpected challenges. Maybe you realize that the way you've been doing things isn't yielding the results you hoped for. These situations are not failures. They are opportunities to learn, to grow, and to adjust your approach. The key is to stay committed to your end goal, but be willing to change how you get there. Maybe your initial plan was to work for 2 hours straight on a particular task, but you're feeling drained or distracted. Instead of quitting and giving up for the day, try adjusting your approach. Break the task down into smaller chunks. Take a short break and come back to it. Change your environment if you need to. There are countless ways to adjust, but the important thing is to keep pushing forward. Sometimes adjusting means changing your mindset. We all face those moments of doubt or frustration when we feel like we're not getting anywhere. But when those feelings arise, remember that's part of the process. Everyone faces obstacles. What separates successful people from those who give up is the ability to keep going, even when things aren't going perfectly. When you adjust, you're giving yourself the opportunity to keep progressing, even if it's at a slower pace. Consistency isn't about moving at full speed all the time. It's about staying in motion, even when the going gets tough. If you keep adjusting and moving forward, you will eventually get where you want to go. It's also important to remember that adjustment doesn't mean abandoning your goals. If your approach isn't working, it's not a reason to quit your goal entirely. You don't have to give up on what you want because you hit a roadblock. Sometimes the most successful people have gone through several iterations of their plans before finding the one that worked. They stayed committed to their vision, but they were flexible in how they reached it. When you adjust, it's also important to celebrate small wins along the way. Progress is progress, no matter how small. If you make a small adjustment and it brings you closer to your goal, give yourself credit for that. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't going perfectly, but even the smallest steps forward are steps in the right direction. Another reason it's important to adjust is that it helps you build resilience. Every time you face a setback and you keep going, you become stronger. You develop a mindset that's prepared to handle challenges, rather than one that shies away from them. And the more resilient you become, the easier it will be to stay consistent, even when things aren't going the way you planned. Adjusting doesn't mean you've failed or that you've done something wrong. It means you're learning, you're evolving, and you're committed to finding a way to succeed. No one has ever achieved success by quitting when things got hard. It's the people who adjust, who learn from their failures, and who stay committed to their end goal that eventually achieve the results they desire. So when things aren't going as planned, don't be discouraged. Adjust your approach. Reevaluate your strategy. Break down your tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces. Find a different way to stay focused. Adjust your mindset to stay positive and focused on your long-term vision. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter what. Don't let setbacks define your journey. Don't let a tough day or a challenging week make you believe that you're not capable of success. Remember, consistency is not about doing things perfectly every time. It's about showing up, staying committed, and adjusting when necessary. The path to success isn't a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and bumps. But if you keep adjusting and never quit, you'll find your way to where you want to be. So the next time you face an obstacle, ask yourself, how can I adjust? What can I do differently to keep moving forward? Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to change your approach. The important thing is that you keep going, because as long as you're still moving, you're still winning. Now let me leave you with this. No matter what happens, no matter how many times you have to adjust, never give up on your dream. Never give up on the goals you've set for yourself. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never face challenges. They're the ones who keep going, no matter what. And when you adjust and keep pushing forward, you'll eventually see the results. Number 6, train yourself to act without waiting for motivation. You've heard it a million times. I'll do it when I feel motivated. It's a trap. Let's get real for a moment. Motivation is a fleeting feeling. It comes and goes. And if you're waiting for it to magically appear every time you need to get to work, you'll be waiting forever. The secret to consistency is learning to act without waiting for motivation. Now don't get me wrong, motivation is powerful. It gets you started, it gets you excited. But here's the truth, motivation is unreliable. There are days when you're not going to feel it. There are days when you're tired, stressed, or just don't feel like doing anything. And if you wait for that motivation to hit, you'll miss the chance to make progress. The key to moving forward, the real key to consistency, is training yourself to act in spite of the lack of motivation. Think about it. How many days have you woken up with all the intention to work, to hit your goals, and then realized your energy just isn't there? Maybe you're feeling lazy, or your mind keeps wandering. The motivation just isn't there. But let's be honest, you don't need motivation to get started. You need discipline. Discipline is what gets you through the hard days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Here's the first thing to understand. Motivation doesn't drive your actions. Your habits do. When you make certain actions a habit, you don't need to wait for motivation to show up. You don't need to ask yourself if you feel like doing something. You just do it. It becomes part of your daily routine, and the results follow. Start by making the small tasks a regular part of your day. Don't think about it. Don't overanalyze it. Just do it. When you set up a habit, you remove the need for motivation because your actions are automatic. It's no longer a matter of whether or not you feel like doing it. It's about getting it done because it's part of your system. This might sound too simple, but it works. We all have a choice each day. You can either choose to act and get something done, or you can wait around for motivation to come to you. The problem with waiting is that motivation isn't something you can count on to show up on your schedule. But discipline, habits, and systems, those things are reliable. One of the best ways to start training yourself to act without waiting for motivation is to build small, manageable routines into your day. I'm talking about simple tasks that over time become second nature. You don't need to wake up and run a marathon tomorrow to start making progress. You just need to take that first step. Start with something small, something simple that you know you can commit to every day. no matter how you feel. It could be writing for 10 minutes in the morning, making a phone call to a potential client, or doing a quick workout. The goal is not to make things huge or overwhelming, but to establish that habit of showing up every single day. And here's the kicker. The more you stick with it, the easier it gets. It's like building muscle. The first few times you do it, it's going to feel tough. You'll resist, you'll want to quit, but the more you do it, the stronger your willpower becomes. And soon you won't need motivation to take action. You'll just do it because it's what you've trained yourself to do. Another important piece of this is understanding that action breeds motivation. It's not the other way around. Most people wait for motivation to show up, but the real secret is that the more you act, the more motivated you become. Motivation doesn't come from thinking about what you need to do. It comes from doing it. Once you take that first step, you'll feel a sense of momentum. And once that momentum builds, the motivation naturally follows. Think of it like this. You're standing at the base of a hill, and it feels like a huge mountain to climb. If you keep thinking about how hard it's going to be, you're going to get stuck right there. But if you take one step, then another, suddenly that hill doesn't seem so steep anymore. The action you took builds that momentum, and suddenly you're cruising along. The more you act, the easier it becomes to keep going. There's another critical point here. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Perfectionism will hold you back more than anything. You don't need everything to be perfectly aligned in order to get started. Don't wait until your schedule is perfect, or until you have all the time in the world to work on your goals. Life isn't going to wait for you to feel ready to start. There will always be challenges, always be distractions, and always be days when you don't feel like doing it. The secret is to start anyway. Sometimes you just have to take action, even if you don't feel prepared, even if you don't have all the answers. The key is to stop waiting for that perfect moment and start now with whatever you have. The journey will teach you along the way. You'll adjust, you'll learn, and you'll get better. But that only happens if you start. A big part of this mindset shift comes from understanding the difference between temporary motivation and lasting discipline. Motivation is temporary. It's a burst of energy, a quick rush that fades away just as fast as it comes. Discipline, on the other hand, is built through consistent action. It's not about feeling good every time you work. It's about doing the work regardless of how you feel. And that's what will carry you through the long haul. Let me put it this way. The person who succeeds is the one who shows up even when they don't feel like it. It's the person who trains themselves to take action, not the person who waits for motivation to strike. This is where the real growth happens. When you act without needing to feel motivated, you create a system of consistency that becomes unstoppable. And that's how success is built, through consistent action, day in and day out. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Don't wait for motivation to show up. Don't rely on it to get things done. Instead, train yourself to act, no matter what. Start building those habits now. Make it a routine. Break the cycle of waiting and start doing. And as you do, you'll see that motivation will follow the action. You'll be more productive, you'll get more done, and you'll be one step closer to reaching your goals. And remember, the power is in your hands. The key is to act, even when you don't feel like it. Because once you do, everything else will fall into place. Number 7, use reminders and accountability to stay on course. If you think you can do it all on your own, that's great, but trust me, you're only human. We all need some extra support along the way to stay on track. Whether it's remembering to complete a task, sticking to a schedule, or staying focused on a big goal, reminders and accountability are two of the most powerful tools in your toolkit. You've probably heard the phrase, out of sight, out of mind. It's true. When things aren't in front of you, it's so easy to forget about them. And let's face it, life gets busy. There's always something else demanding your attention. You start off the day full of energy and with the best of intentions, but before you know it, you've gotten sidetracked, and your goals have taken a back seat. That's where reminders come in. Simple reminders can make a world of difference. Whether it's a sticky note on your computer, an alarm on your phone, or a task list on your desk. These little cues help you stay focused on what you need to do. They act as a nudge, just a little prompt that brings you back to your purpose when your attention starts to wander. You'd be surprised how much more effective your day will be when you use reminders to keep you on track. But reminders aren't just about remembering the small tasks. They also help keep your bigger goals in sight. Sometimes when you're working on something over a long period of time, it's easy to forget why you started in the first place. Maybe you're feeling discouraged, or maybe you're just exhausted. This is when your reminders can serve as a powerful motivator. Write down your big goals, put them somewhere you can see them every day, and let them remind you of what you're working toward. That reminder becomes your anchor. It brings you back to the bigger picture and helps you push through when things get tough. But let's be honest, reminders alone won't always cut it. You need something else to help you stay focused and on track. Accountability. Accountability is about having someone who holds you to your commitments. It's that extra layer of responsibility that keeps you from falling off course when you feel like slacking off. It's the difference between saying, "I'll do it later," and saying, "I have to do it because someone else is depending on me." Now, don't confuse accountability with pressure. It's not about someone breathing down your neck or forcing you to work harder. Accountability is about having someone to check in with. It's about sharing your goals and progress with someone who encourages you and helps you stay motivated. It's a partnership where both people are committed to growth. This could be a friend, a mentor, a coach, or even a coworker. It's someone who is invested in your success, someone who can help you stay on track when life gets in the way. Accountability partners don't just remind you of what you need to do. They also celebrate your wins and offer support when things get tough. They hold you to your word, not because they want to make things harder, but because they want to see you succeed. A lot of people find that having someone they report to, whether it's a formal check-in or just a friendly text asking how things are going, keeps them much more focused and productive. The fear of disappointing someone, or even just the idea of having to admit you didn't get something done, can be a powerful motivator in itself. Now, accountability doesn't always have to come from another person. You can also hold yourself accountable. Start by setting clear goals and deadlines for yourself. Write them down, put them in your calendar, and hold yourself to those commitments. But the key here is to make it real. Don't just say you're going to do something and then hope it works out. Be clear about what you need to achieve, and set up a system to track your progress. To make sure you're on course, check in regularly with yourself. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I accomplish what I set out to do today? If not, why? What could I do differently tomorrow to stay on track? Self-accountability is about being honest with yourself, and it's just as effective as having someone else hold you accountable. There's also another level to this: public accountability. This means sharing your goals with a larger audience. Maybe you tell your friends, or you post about your progress on social media. When you do this, you're creating a sense of accountability that comes from the people who are watching you. They may not be actively checking in on you, but knowing that others are aware of what you're working on adds an extra layer of responsibility. It's a little psychological push that makes you more likely to follow through on your commitments. Now, one of the best ways to use reminders and accountability together is to build a support system around you. Look at your goals and think about who can help you achieve them. Who in your life can you turn to for support and motivation? Who can hold you accountable in a way that pushes you forward? These are the people who will keep you on track, no matter how tough things get. And remember, the goal isn't to rely on others for your success. It's to use these tools to build momentum. Once you've developed the habit of staying on course, reminders and accountability become less about needing external help and more about maintaining the consistency that leads to success. But in the beginning, when you're just getting started, they can be the difference between achieving your goals and falling off track. Here's the thing about consistency. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and it takes effort. But with reminders and accountability, you're giving yourself the best chance to succeed. You're removing distractions, staying focused, and making sure that you keep showing up day after day. These tools help you build the momentum you need to reach your goals, and they remind you that you're not in this alone. So here's your action step. Set up your reminders today. Whether it's a list on your phone, a vision board on your wall, or an accountability partner who checks in on you, get it in place. Make sure you have a system that supports your journey and keeps you moving forward, even on the days when motivation is low. And remember, you're doing this not just for today, but for the long haul. Success is built on consistency, and reminders and accountability are the keys to making that consistency stick. Number 8, Overcome setbacks by getting right back to work. Life isn't a straight line, and neither is success. There will always be bumps in the road, unexpected hurdles, and moments when things don't go as planned. It's part of the journey. The difference between those who succeed and those who fall short is how they handle setbacks. The truth is, setbacks are inevitable, but what matters most is how quickly you bounce back and get back to work. Let's break this down. Life is tough. It throws challenges at us from every direction. And when those challenges hit, they can knock us off course. It might be a failed project at work, a personal disappointment, or an unexpected change in plans. Whatever it is, it's easy to let a setback derail you. You get discouraged, maybe even angry, and you wonder if it's worth pushing forward. But here's the thing. Your response to setbacks determines your future success. When you face a setback, it's natural to feel disappointed or frustrated. But if you let those feelings control you, it's easy to get stuck. You start doubting yourself. You wonder if you're really capable. You question your abilities. But I want you to understand this one simple truth. Setbacks don't define you. How you respond to them does. Think of a setback like a roadblock. It's annoying. It might slow you down for a while, but it doesn't mean the journey is over. You can either sit there staring at the roadblock, feeling sorry for yourself, or you can find a way around it and keep going. The choice is yours, but the key is to keep going. Don't let the setback keep you down for too long. You see, success is a lot like building muscle. Every time you overcome a challenge, you're getting stronger. When you face a setback and keep moving forward, you're strengthening your resilience. The more setbacks you overcome, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's not about avoiding obstacles. It's about learning how to push through them. And every time you get back to work after a setback, you're building that muscle of resilience. One of the hardest things about setbacks is the feeling of disappointment. You've put in the effort, you've given it your all, and then out of nowhere, things fall apart. But here's where you need to shift your mindset. A setback is not the end. It's simply a delay. It's a chance to reassess, reframe, and come back stronger. If you look at it the right way, a setback can teach you valuable lessons. Maybe it shows you what doesn't work. Maybe it pushes you to think outside the box. It's an opportunity to learn, grow, and adapt. So what do you do when you face a setback? First, don't dwell on it. I know it's tempting. You want to beat yourself up, figure out where you went wrong, or feel sorry for yourself. But the longer you focus on the problem, the longer it will take to get back on track. Instead of focusing on the setback, focus on what comes next. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to get moving again? Don't waste energy on regret or anger. Those emotions won't move you forward. They'll keep you stuck. Instead, channel that energy into action. It's time to get right back to work. If you've been knocked down, don't stay down. Get back up and keep moving forward. Sometimes getting back to work isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about taking the next small step. Even if that step is just a little action, it's enough to get the momentum going again. Now you might be thinking, it's easy to say, but hard to do. And I get it. It's tough. But remember this, every time you push through a setback, you're proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. You're proving that you're not the kind of person who gives up when things get hard. You're showing yourself that you're in this for the long haul. And when you face setbacks, give yourself grace. Understand that it's okay to feel frustrated or disappointed. It's okay to take a moment to regroup. But don't stay there. Don't let the setback define you. What defines you is how you choose to get up, dust yourself off, and move forward. It's also important to celebrate the small victories. When you get back to work after a setback, even if the progress is slow, give yourself credit for showing up. Give yourself credit for taking action. The small wins matter just as much as the big ones. Each little step you take brings you closer to where you want to be. Here's the truth. Setbacks don't mean you've failed. They just mean you've encountered a challenge. And challenges are part of the process. The most successful people in the world have faced setbacks. They've been knocked down, just like you. The difference is, they didn't stay down, they kept moving forward, no matter how many times they fell. So when you face a setback, remind yourself that it's just a bump in the road. It's not the end of the journey. Take a deep breath, reassess, and then get back to work. Keep moving. Keep pushing forward. Your success isn't determined by how many times you fall. It's determined by how many times you get back up. And when you get back up, don't be afraid to adjust. Maybe the original plan didn't work out, and that's okay. Success doesn't always follow a straight path, but the important thing is that you're still moving, you're still committed, you're still showing up, and that's what matters most. So here's your action step. When you face a setback, don't sit in it. Don't let it control you. Get back to work, even if it's just one small step at a time. Remember, setbacks are not the end. They're just part of the journey. And with every setback you overcome, you're one step closer to your goals. Keep going. Keep moving forward. You've got this. Number 9, surround yourself with people who push you forward. The people you surround yourself with have a massive impact on your life. I want you to think about the last month, the last year. Think about the people you've spent the most time with. How have they influenced you? How have they shaped your thoughts, your habits, and your direction? You see, we all have a choice in the people we spend time with. And the people we choose to surround ourselves with play a major role in our success or failure. This is a simple but very important truth. Your success is often determined by the people you associate with. The right people lift you up. They inspire you, challenge you, and encourage you when times get tough. The wrong people pull you down. They feed you negativity, limit your thinking, and hold you back from reaching your potential. Think about the people who really inspire you. The people you admire for their success, their attitude, their mindset. Now, what do those people have in common? Chances are, they surround themselves with other successful, positive, and motivated individuals. They don't spend their time with people who drag them down or distract them from their goals. You need to ask yourself, who am I surrounding myself with? Are these the kind of people who encourage you to be your best? Do they push you to reach higher and go further? Or are they the kind of people who are content with mediocrity, who don't challenge you to be better? I want you to understand this. If you want to go places, you've got to be with people who push you forward. It's that simple. If the people around you are content staying where they are, if they're not challenging you to think bigger and act bolder, then it's time to make a change. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying that you should just cut off all your old friends or isolate yourself from everyone you've ever known. What I'm saying is, you need to be intentional about who you spend your time with. You need to be mindful of the influences around you because those influences will shape your life. If you want to grow, you've got to be around people who will help you grow. You've got to be around people who will hold you accountable, who will encourage you when you feel like giving up, and who will inspire you to keep going when the going gets tough. These are the people who won't just tell you what you want to hear, they'll tell you the truth. They'll challenge you to do better. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, but growth never happens in the comfort zone. You need to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, more successful than you, or at least on the same level of ambition. You want people who are going places, who are pushing themselves, who are thinking about their future and taking action every single day. These are the kinds of people who will elevate you, and when you elevate your circle, you elevate your life. But how do you find these people? Well, it starts with getting clear on what you want. Once you know your goals and your vision, you'll start to naturally attract the people who align with that vision. You'll find yourself drawn to people who are doing the work, who are focused, who are driven. And listen, if you can't find those people right away, don't let that stop you. There are plenty of groups, online communities, seminars, and events where you can meet like-minded individuals. It's your responsibility to go out and find them. If you're serious about your success, you've got to seek out the people who can push you forward and hold you to a higher standard. One thing to remember, it's not just about the quantity of people you have around you, but the quality. A small group of people who truly believe in you and who push you to be better is far more valuable than a large group of people who don't have your best interests at heart. So ask yourself, who are the people I need to be around to make my dreams a reality? Do you need to start hanging out with more ambitious, driven, and successful individuals? Do you need to be around people who will hold you accountable and encourage you to take action? The people you surround yourself with play a crucial role in your success. Now, I know this might sound like common sense, but I want you to really think about it. Are the people around you pushing you forward, or are they holding you back? Are they lifting you up, or are they keeping you comfortable where you are? The people you spend the most time with will influence your mindset, your work ethic, and your results. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from people who aren't helping you grow. If someone is constantly dragging you down, distracting you, or feeding you negativity, it's time to move on. There's no room for those kinds of people in your life if you want to reach your highest potential. And I'm not saying it's easy. Sometimes it's hard to let go of relationships, especially if you've been friends with someone for a long time. But think about it this way. Would you rather stay comfortable, or would you rather push yourself to achieve something greater? Would you rather stick with the status quo, or would you rather surround yourself with people who challenge you to become the best version of yourself? You've got one life, one chance, and the people you allow into that life will either help you rise or keep you stuck. The choice is yours. So take a moment to evaluate your inner circle. Are these the people who are pushing you forward? Are they encouraging you to be better? If not, it's time to make some changes. Surround yourself with people who push you forward, who challenge you, and who want to see you succeed. And when you do that, you'll be amazed at how quickly you start to grow, how much you start to achieve, and how much closer you get to the person you're meant to be. Remember, success is not a solo journey. It's a journey that's made easier when you have the right people by your side. So find those people, build that community, and start moving forward together. Number 10, end your day by reviewing your progress. At the end of the day, there's one crucial step many people overlook, and it can make all the difference in the world. Review your progress. It's simple, yet incredibly powerful. So many of us rush through our days, pushing to get to the next task, the next goal, the next hurdle. But in all that rush, we forget to pause and reflect on what we've actually accomplished. Now here's the truth. If you don't take the time to review your progress, you risk losing track of how far you've come and how much you've grown. We're all busy chasing our big dreams and our big goals. But if you're not measuring your steps along the way, it's easy to get discouraged or frustrated when progress feels slow. But when you take a moment to look back and see just how much you've accomplished, no matter how small it seems, you'll be amazed at how much motivation and confidence it gives you to keep going. So at the end of your day, take a few minutes to ask yourself, what did I do today? What did I accomplish? What steps did I take toward my goals? And most importantly, what can I learn from today to make tomorrow even better? This is all about being intentional. It's about closing the day with a sense of purpose and reviewing what worked, what didn't, and what you can do to improve. It's not about beating yourself up if you didn't get everything done on your to-do list. No, it's about being honest with yourself, acknowledging your wins, and learning from your setbacks. When you make this a daily habit, it shifts your mindset. It helps you see that progress isn't always about achieving everything at once. Sometimes it's about the small steps, the little wins, the tiny improvements that add up over time. You'll start to recognize that even on the days when things don't go as planned, you've still made progress. It's the small victories that add up to massive success. Take a moment to celebrate what you did accomplish, even if it wasn't everything on your list. Did you take action toward a big goal? Did you push through a challenge? Did you learn something new? Celebrate those moments. They're all part of the bigger picture. And yes, some days will be harder than others. You'll face setbacks. You'll have days when you feel like you didn't get as much done as you wanted. That's okay. What's important is that you don't let those days discourage you. Instead, you use them as a lesson. What can you do better tomorrow? What will you adjust? How can you be more effective or focused? It's all part of the process. Reviewing your progress at the end of each day also helps you stay accountable. When you take a moment to reflect on your actions, you're holding yourself accountable to your goals. It's easy to forget your goals when you're busy, but reviewing your progress each night reminds you why you're working so hard in the first place. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is getting stuck in the day-to-day grind without ever taking a step back to see how much they've grown. But when you take the time to review your progress every day, it keeps you grounded in your purpose and focused on your long-term goals. It helps you recognize that progress isn't just about results. It's about growth, learning, and taking consistent action toward your dreams. I encourage you to make this a habit. End your day by reviewing your progress. It only takes a few minutes, but it will give you the clarity you need to keep moving forward. Look at what worked, what didn't, and what you can do to improve. And don't forget to celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem, because those small wins are what lead to big victories over time. At the same time, Be gentle with yourself. No one gets everything perfect every single day. Some days will be better than others, and that's okay. But what matters is that you keep showing up, you keep doing the work, and you keep reflecting on how you can improve. And here's the best part. The more you make this a habit, the more you'll realize just how much progress you're actually making. You'll look back after a month, a year, and see how far you've come. The small daily progress will add up to something incredible. But if you don't take the time to reflect, you might miss it. At the end of every day, ask yourself, what did I accomplish? What can I improve? What did I learn? Review your progress. Acknowledge your wins. And make a plan to do even better tomorrow. You'll be amazed at how this simple habit will help you stay on course, stay motivated, and keep moving toward your goals with confidence. The key to success isn't about doing everything perfectly every day. It's about consistency. It's about learning from every step you take. And it's about always moving forward, even when things don't go exactly as planned. Reviewing your progress daily will help you stay grounded, focused, and committed to the journey ahead. It's one of the most powerful tools you can use to stay consistent, stay motivated, and keep making progress toward the life you want to create. So make it a daily practice to review your progress. Reflect on what you've done, learn from your experiences, and continue to improve. The more you do this, the more you'll realize just how much you've accomplished and how much closer you're getting to your dreams. Keep moving forward, keep showing up, and keep reviewing your progress. Your success is a matter of consistency, and this simple practice will help you stay on track every single day. So there you have it, the real key to consistency. It's not about big dramatic changes, and it's definitely not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about showing up, doing the work, and sticking to the plan, no matter what. Every single day is an opportunity to move a little closer to your goals. When you commit to consistency, you start to build momentum, and that momentum will carry you further than you ever imagined. I know it's not always easy. There will be tough days, days when it feels like nothing is working. But remember, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means getting back up when things go wrong, adjusting when needed, and never quitting. I'm here to tell you that you can do this. Keep showing up, keep putting in the effort, and soon enough, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Now, if you found value in this video, I want you to take one step today. Pick just one of the strategies I shared and start putting it into practice. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Thanks for watching, and remember, every day is a chance to make progress. Keep going, and I'll see you in the next video.